Hello, this is Chaim Zeitz yet again. I was just watching a video by Mr. Repzion. I think that's how you say his name. Anyways, very interesting video. Um, I myself have gone through a metamorphosis with religion. Um, he seems to have, or from what he says, he seems to have gone from being a theist to a deist. Now, this is what I have to say about that. Deism makes such claims as theism does based on the fact that they say they believe that there's a God, but they believe that this God doesn't intervene within this universe of ours, right? But you're making an assertion. If there is a God, how do you know that he doesn't intervene or does intervene? I mean, both ends of the spectrum are making assert assumptions of such great proportions. Uh, Let me give you a little piece of where I'm at. I I guess you can consider me an agnostic theist. Um, I've been going through changes since last Rosh Hashanah. We haven't, well, it's the Jewish New Year. That was a year ago. It's almost Rosh Hashanah again in about 2 weeks, and I guess right now I'm still in a confusion of it, how am I going to celebrate this holiday? But at least things have become more clear in the past year for me. Like, I've come to understand the difference between belief and knowledge. That many people who believe accept something as if it is a fact. It doesn't make it a fact, but they accept it as if it is a fact. A lot of people will go to the point where they'll say, no, it's not that I accept it as a fact. It is a fact. It's absolute. There's no way to argue with it in any shape or form. I was like that. I truly was like that at one point. I believed in it so much to the point where it was either you're just dumb for not believing or for knowing that God exists, or you're smart for coming to this conclusion. Um, but then my own faith was tested. It was tested, and I was put in the shoes of the people who I was talking negatively about. Um, and after this test, I every time I put on tefillin, which is it's a Jewish thing, or kept Shabbos, again another Jewish thing, or kosher. You all know what kosher is. I felt like a hypocrite. I'm doing this thing, but I just every time I do it, because I'm still at the time I was still religious, but like I just felt like a hypocrite. And then um, I get to the point in my life where I meet the most amazing woman who I've been dating now for 8 months, and she's the first person I was ever willing to compromise for, um, with my religion, because people before her, I would date and they weren't willing. I guess we didn't see eye to eye, and I just wasn't willing to compromise for them. So, I guess because of everything that's happened, since last Rosh Hashanah, that's why I guess I was willing to compromise for her. That and because I truly do love her. Like there was something that I just before I called it love, because obviously love is a build. It's like a building. You can't just say, "Oh, I love you." I mean, you can. There's attraction at first sight, but there's no such thing as love at first sight. That's for another video. That's another discussion. Anyways, I felt something like I've never felt for any other girl, so I made the choice to make compromises. And anyways, um, after the decision to compromise my practice of religion, I guess one compromise led to another compromise, led to another compromise until I eventually decided I didn't want to be religious anymore. And I was kind of like seesawing back between pantheism and theism in and and as an agnostic, and also so like I was well yeah I went from being a religious Jew until the thing that happened, the thing that tested my faith, to being willing to compromise my religious practice to agnosticism to agnostic theism, and then to pantheism, and then back to agnostic theism, and then it's like the seesaw effect eventually started evening out, kind of slowing down and evening it out. And I mean, it's still a little bit like this, still a little bit, but at least it's slower and it's almost stable, where things are starting to become more clear. Um, so I've come to this point. Obviously, we're all agnostic by default, and when a deist tries to disclaim theism, I think that it's illogical because it's just as much of an assumption of a above our own natural understanding type of claim. So um, it's obvious that I'm an agnostic theist, because I believe based on strong evidence. I'm not saying that there is or isn't a God. I'm just saying based on strong evidence and the history of my ancestors, I have decided to still be a theist, but based on the fact that I am agnostic by default. And so, like, if someone asked me, "Hey, what are you? What religion are you?" I would say I'm Jewish. Um, am I Orthodox anymore? No, but I don't see myself as a conservative either, or a reformist, or Reconstructionist, or humanitarian type of Jew. I mean, obviously, I'm a humanitarian, but not, as part of a religious concept. Um, I just see myself as Jewish. I believe that there's a God. Um, and based on the fact that I don't know, and that uh, that why worry about the afterlife? If we don't know about it, um, still try to enjoy this life. I mean, be a good person and try to be spiritual in a sense, but um, I'm not gonna beat myself up anymore about this. You know, I've come to the decision. You know, I'm Jewish, and I'm not saying that it's a right or wrong thing. It's just a choice that I decided to find spirituality in my own way. Like when I uh, tie tongues with my girlfriend, I find that to be very spiritual. um, you know, Others would beg to differ because it's not tzniut. It's not modest according to the Jewish faith. But like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong because I don't know. I have to find myself, and I think that's the most appropriate thing for anyone to do is to find themselves and be honest with themselves. Um, so going back to Mr. Repzion, whatever you choose to believe in, awesome. But don't be so quick to throw theism under the bus so quickly, especially when you decide to jump on a bus that is basically the same type of claim. You know, you're just you're switching some parts of the subject, but nevertheless, those different parts of the subject are still just on the same measurement of a claim as theism, which is a lack of measurement. You can't measure anything that's above our own nature, supernatural. You can't, because if it's above our own nature, it's immeasurable. It's above our own nature of perceiving, of sensing. So, anyways, this has been Chaim. Peace.